Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Andre here, ZMoth.com, and he's finally in. Thanos, the Mad Titan himself from Hot Toys Avengers Infinity War line. It's a massive release, guys, I can tell you. Take your time when unboxing it and fully digest the glory of this figure. That's exactly what I did, and I prepared you a good video review with some comparison shots of movie scenes and some comparison shots with other releases. So stay tuned, and we start first with the box. So let's roll. So Thanos is the MMS479, and have a look at the size of this box. It fits perfectly into the rest of the art boxes of the Avengers Infinity War line by Hot Toys. This time they went more with like a concept art picture of the character, but I love the colors, the purples, the space area in the background, the Infinity Gauntlet and so on. So expect some real weight on this release. The shipping box even has a handle on it to basically walk around with it, to have a bit more comfort in transporting the whole figure. And as you can see here, it's about 1/3 taller than a normal sized 1/6 scale figure. So expect some elevated shipping charges when you get this bad boy into your country. And yeah, that's basically it for the art box. Let's continue with the figure itself. And here we go, Thanos out of the box, and look at the serious work Hot Toys put into that face and likeness. It's crazy good, and for me another contender for figure of the year. We had the amazing Doctor Strange already, and now this release. I cannot really think how they can do this even better, but let's see. I'm open for all surprises. So let's go first for the accessories. These are already attached to the figure, a right grabbing hand, and of course the articulated Infinity Gauntlet. Then let's go down. So what do we have here? First, the secondary head sculpt. This is with the angry expression. I really love it when Hot Toys goes this route and gives us some additional fully sculpted and painted head sculpt with some nice emotions into it. As you can see here, the slots for the teeth, really well done. Personally, I'm more of a fan of the serious looking, but it's, yeah, they're both top notch. Then here the other two hand sculpts. They have no articulation, and this is rather a relaxed looking one, and this has some kind of a punch motion going on. So something I wasn't expecting was that Hot Toys thrown in a secondary full left arm. I have no clue if they promoted it ever, but it's basically there to cater for the issue with the rubberized arms on the figure themselves. So when you have a rubber arm and bend it, it looks really weird. So they went for a switch out arm. Unfortunately, the execution is also not perfect. You see the biceps here looks really not anatomically correct. This way it's alright, but this way it looks a bit weird. But it's really just dead angles. So from this perspective, it's nice. It's a good solution, and it's definitely better than have these wacky looking rubberized arms. And then again, you have a secondary full painted and sculpted Infinity Gauntlet, also with LEDs in it, and even with a closed front area of the gauntlet. So then for the base you have actually two separate surface skins. I definitely prefer this one. Have a look at this. It's like comic themed with all Infinity gems or stones into the gauntlet. A nice Avengers Infinity War logo. And overall I definitely will go for this one. If you go for the backdrop that I will show you in a minute, you could also choose for this surface skin, which is basically recreating the Titan landscape. Also nice. It's not a flat surface, so you won't have a problem with a figure gliding over it or something. Here's the backdrop that I just told you about. Basically Thanos recreating the scene with the moon grabbing action from the sky. Unfortunately also here, like on the Doctor Strange one, the print quality is not really up to the standards. Maybe it's intentional by Hot Toys, I have no clue. And obviously it has a second fold here. That's probably a reason, because otherwise it would not fit into the box. But I think overall it's a good throw in. I will try some recreation of the action pose with the grabbing flexed arm later on. So movie authenticity, first of all, of course, the amazing head sculpt and likeness of the character. We compare it not to Josh Brolin, of course, but more to the 3D character of Thanos from the movie. And this whole head sculpt definitely lives with the shadows. So when I dim down the lights, as you can see, it really comes to life. There's so much details going on. It's not like a polished surface on the bald head. It's really, it has some indents here and there. It has all these scars going all over of the head onto the front. Then you also have the scarring here on the back side of the head around the ears. And if you compare this to the movie, I think Hotos did an amazing job for recreating this likeness, especially here on the serious looking face. Here even more with dimmed down lights. So this is definitely rocking good likeness to the character. So also cool is if you work a bit with the light position. So if you have it on the top, it looks even more evil and more sinister. Then a bit of a drawback here on the backside is the neckline. This doesn't look too nice. Also the whole back area here. This is looking not so high quality compared to the other sides of the head sculpt. Then it might be that there's some kind of a seam going on, but it's really only noticeable if you put the lights like this. In a fully lit environment, you won't notice it. So overall, compared to the actual movie likeness, this is probably a 99% for me. It's really top-notch work. Alright, let's have some fun with recreating some of the movie scenes. So in the opening scene of Infinity War, you basically have Thanos hunting down Loki and the Tesseract, which is the Space Stone. And if you have the Tesseract from the Nick Fury figure from some years ago, it's a perfect match and you can put that in to his right hand. Now, first time you see these unsightly rubbery arms, so never show it like this. The better angle would be something like this. So pretty cool. So the end of the opening scene is also good to demonstrate a bit the articulation range of the arms. So in that scene he first grabs up into the sky, he activates the Power Stone, which is fine here because you have a full rotation, and then he lowers again the arm, but then covers his stomach area in the movie. And here's a bit of a limitation with this figure. You have absolutely no chance to invert, articulate the arms. You have a bit of a ratchet here on the rubberized arm, but that's about it. And then you have this unsightly gap, but there's no chance to invert articulate that. So this is a fun one. So I want to recreate this scene where he basically gets attacked by Gamora for that reality stone scene. And as you can see, it's massive how Thanos is towering over Gamora. This is the Guardians of the Galaxy 1 figure of Gamora. So I think they're a bit out of scale, and of course you can see in that scene he basically grabs her sword. Also that is not really into scale, but I mean, yeah, in the end, if you want to recreate this iconic battle between father and daughter, this is probably possible, but just be aware of the scaling issues. So then we can now fully recreate the battle scene with Doctor Strange and the sword slash, where he basically again grabs the sword with its bare hands as before with Gamora, his left arm on the backside placed, and I think this makes up for a good action pose together with Doctor Strange. All in all, the only thing missing right now would be that he had this battle damage eye webbing of Spider-Man or Spider going on, but I mean that would be really over the top if Hot Toys would go all that way and recreate all the different special effects from the battle scene. Alright, what else do we have? Of Doctor Strange, we had this open discussion about the bands of Kitrak and if it would make somehow sense to use the bands that you got with Doctor Strange to attach it to Thanos. Now let's have a look at this. So overall, I mean, it looks okay, but it's definitely not meant to have it displayed like this and placed into the gauntlet like this. In the movie it looks a lot more wrapped. But at least you could have the option to pull this off somehow, but yeah, it's a bit lackluster in the end. So the next up we have the scene where Thanos is grabbing Iron Spidey mid-air, but I think movie authentic would be the grab around the neck area, but unfortunately that's not possible. But Spidey is so light as a figure and Thanos is really towering over him. So that way it's without a problem to recreate that scene somehow. And the next move would be then to have him smashed down onto the floor. So let's see how this looks. So then this is basically the result. So Iron Spidey gets smashed into the ground by Thanos. I think this angle here is the perfect one to get a nice photo. But I wouldn't recommend to do this in a long-term situation or pose. Doesn't look too good also from other angles, because as you can see here you have to use the full range of articulation on the legs, the knees and the boots, then somehow stabilize it with the hands and then have the right arm somehow grab the neck area of Spidey. But yeah, it's a nice thing that you have at least the possibilities with Thanos to do this and pull it off. He's really mad right now. So as you can see here, this is also great for basically recreating some museum style poses. And if you look at that angle, this you might remember from that scene where he talks about the past and the destruction of Titan. And this way it's perfect to use the base, put one of the feet on top of it, put the gauntlet a bit more into the front thigh area, use the relaxed hand, and then it's basically all ready for this pretty epic pose. Have the face looking a bit into the sky, and it's a perfect recreation for that scene. And I love the reality stone effect when it's crawling through in the background. That's such a great and beautiful effect, if you ask me. So then of course we have to recreate that scene where he grabs the moon from the sky, and you basically had everything that you need. You have this grabbing front right hand, and you have the fixed sculpt, switch out left arm, you have the angry expression face sculpt, which looks terrific. And there you basically are ready to recreate that scene with the backdrop. Oh, and a quick shout out to one of the official Hot Toys photographers. His name is Alex Brooks. You always can read BG Toy Art on the photos, then you know it's from his source. And he put up an amazing set of photos of Thanos, and he also provided the official legit money shot by recreating this scene here. I'll put in two pictures: on the left side the official movie still, on the right side the photo of Alex, and you will be blown away. I would say at first I was not sure if it's a movie still or if it was a figure, but it's so well made. It's not overly photoshopped. I would say it's really well made. So quick shout out to you, Alex. That was one hell of a job. And I hope you can even put that to another level when you have more figures out in the future. Then let's quickly talk about battle damage or weathering. As you can see, there's none of it present on this release, nor on the skin, nor on the armor itself. The armor, I wouldn't say it's polished, but it's really clean looking. Definitely has no battle damage or scratches or anything, and for me that's totally fine. I mean, maybe we get with Endgame a more battle damage look, who knows, but it's just the fact that you don't have this battle worn look on this release, as you can see in the movie scene playing in parallel. So this is a fully clean Thanos that you get here. Then of course I want to recreate the final smash scene where Thor delivers Stormbreaker right into the heart or chest area of Thanos. Thanos tries to stop it by his right hand, or at least stops it from going further into his chest area. And this you cannot really replicate because you cannot bend the right arm inwards. So, and the other thing is you can't do the real proper kneeling position, so that's about the max that you can achieve here. And by the way, that what you can see here is not the official Stormbreaker. This is the official Stormbreaker, much smaller, because this one is the one from Bad Tomato. Bad Tomato is like an unlicensed third-party supplier of 1/6 scale accessories. It's a okay product. I mean, sculpt wise and paint wise, I think I like it. It's pretty much or even better than the first or the original Hot Toys take, and of course the sizing is a lot better. And one cool thing is you can actually smash it and then you will see the light up feature. Let's dim down the lights further. As you can see, I think it draws battery all the time because it's motion activated and I think also sound activated. So if you somehow scream at Stormbreaker, it will also light up. But yeah, I'm okay with that product. It was quite pricey, I think about 40 bucks at least, and also the battery compartment is not so nice, but at least it's the proper sizing onto the actual Thanos final smash scene. Then we have Thor pushing Stormbreaker further into the heart of Thanos. Let's quickly activate the light here. So there we go. Pretty cool. The weird thing is I had to stabilize Stormbreaker with the gauntlet, as you can see there. Otherwise you have no chance. I have no clue how to do this because you can't really bend Thor's arm more to do this, and he basically pushes Stormbreaker from the backside of the flat hand further into the chest. And then of course missing at the end is this iconic scene where he snaps his fingers and gets back in time with the activation of the gauntlet. Unfortunately, and this is a big letdown in my opinion, is that there's no snap articulation or recreation of that snapping pose, and nor with this gauntlet nor with the other gauntlet. So that's definitely a missed opportunity by Hot Toys if you ask me. Let's quickly show this with the lights deactivated. Alright, so that's about the look that you want to probably achieve then. I'll get you some more close-ups on the gauntlet activator later on. Then let's quickly cover the gauntlet itself in regards of the movie authenticity. Personally, I'm no expert in this gauntlet. I also don't own the life-size one. If I look at the movie screenshots, I think it's really close. I mean, you have all the different engravements here on the different fingers, the one on the middle part, and also the upper gauntlet area. This looks all pretty close to the actual movie thing. Here we've got the time stone. So from my perspective, everything is there and it's really nicely painted. So features and articulation you already saw a lot in movie authenticity. Just a quick summary. So you can fully rotate the arms like this, also the rubberized arm. Then you have a ratchet joint in the rubber arms like this. Looks really hideous. So don't do this over a long time span. Then there's no real ab crunch. There's a ratchet to rotate. Then we have the knees like this, also quite a heavy ratchet. Then of course the boots like this. I think that's about it for the articulation on Thanos. Oh, of course, the head sculpt. So this is fully rotatable. Just watch out in this area here where the collar is, to not scratch the head sculpt itself. Then let's quickly switch out the left arm. It's a huge joint in there. You just take the other one, push it in, and that's it. So this is fully rubberized again with the ratchet. The front gauntlet area you can actually replace. So basically you can either use one of the closed or the articulated hands on both gloves. And here, as you can see, these are fully articulated fingers. It's basically like one of these Iron Man suits that you might know. And of course you can separately articulate the front part of the glove or the gauntlet and the back part. So this is fully rotatable. I think it's also possible to remove this one, but the idea is to remove this and then replace it with the closed gauntlet, of course. This just makes more sense. And yeah, that's basically it for the articulation on the gauntlet. Now let's go for the LED feature. Alright, the LED switch and battery compartments beneath this bottom plate here, it's easily removable. There's a LED switch, just put it back on, and this is this old fashioned system where it basically has this white LED piped into the other part of the gauntlet, and then it's basically lit up. So I have to dim down the lights. In person it's really noticeable, but in bright light it's quite hard to see. So here we go. That's basically it, how it looks on the closed gauntlet. As you can see, some of the stones are pretty bright and shiny, but here on the left side it's almost not noticeable anymore. That's really a bit of a shame, and I expected much more in terms of individual lights or something like this. Yeah, but I mean, it does the job. It's no groundbreaking thing in the end. But to somehow expect a bit more quality at that price tag would have been nice. Now the interesting thing is that the articulated hand has a much better light piping, if you ask me. So here you see the fully lit time stone, you see the power stone, space stone, reality stone, soul stone, mind stone, and this is really miles better than the closed gauntlet version. Even at a bit more light, let's see how this looks. Even with more lights it looks a lot more noticeable, if you ask me. So an idea, maybe it's because of the way how this gauntlet is shaped, that the light is not shining through that well. But yeah, just a major difference here. So to fully verify this, I put the closed gauntlet onto the other back gauntlet area, and when I activate this it's a bit better lit, so it might be a LED quality issue on one of these LEDs, but as you can see the time stone is not that visible as on the other version. So yeah, it depends, it might be an LED issue on one of these gauntlets, or maybe a battery issue, or I think in general this closed gauntlet is not as good for this light piping system as the other one that you can see here. Alright, then let's go for comparison shots, and here we have basically already shown a lot in the authenticity part as well. What I have here are two human-sized figures, so we have Gamora and Tony Stark, and on the right side an Iron Man Mark 46 concept suit. And I think overall the sizing is pretty fine for Tony and the Iron Man suit, but the Gamora, I think she's a bit too small overall. Not totally sure. If you look at some of the movie shots, the human sized figures should really go onto the chest area of Thanos. Then let's continue comparison with three other Avengers here in the picture. On the left side we have Iron Spidey, Doctor Strange, and Thor from Infinity War. And I think here it looks really appropriate, especially in regards of Doctor Strange and Thor, so that's probably a good match, I would say. Yeah, then of course there are not so many collectibles that really tower over Thanos. The one thing that really stands out is of course the Hulkbuster. That size is unbelievable and also no match for Thanos. And it's really hard to take this onto camera, but you can see it's easily I would say 1/3 easily taller than Thanos and a lot wider. And then of course just missing is now the comparison with Hulk. Here on the left side we have the Avengers Age of Ultron Hulk, and it's lighter green tone. And I think here the size comparison, the scale of these two figures is pretty good and spot on. If you look at the opening scene where they battle each other, I think Thanos is really noticeable smaller but has the armor on, where Hulk is just bulkier in the top torso area, and this is definitely shown here as well. So pretty amazing stuff to have them both displayed. So then of course we have to do the comparison with the first Thanos released years back. It was released in the Guardians of the Galaxy 1 line, and I think Thanos back then was just this end credit scene character. It was not clear who would play the actor, and it was just, yeah, something. And then of course we got the latest Thanos, the Josh Brolin look, which looks terrific. Also I love the new size, it just towering over the other Avengers characters. And it's also a statement how good the progress in terms of the quality, paint application and sculpting of Hot Toys is. I mean, if you look at the first Thanos, look at these hitters, just plain purple painted joints. Also here on the thighs, this was not Hot Toys' best job. But then again, it was a good tease, and this might be a good tease how a fully battle armored worn Thanos can look like in the future. I mean, we had the first glimpse also in the movie in Infinity War, and I'm quite curious how they will pull it off next year or this year with the next Avengers movie. I really hope to see a fully armored variant of Thanos. Then of course I needed to try this out. I put Thanos on the first Guardians of the Galaxy Thanos drone, and surprisingly it works okay, I would say. It's not perfect and the drone is definitely undersized, but overall it works. So yeah, if you want to go for that option, if you find the first Thanos on the drone, it's well worth a variant to pose the latest Thanos. Alright, let's close and wrap this video review up on Thanos by Hot Toys. Guys, I'm pretty happy with this release. There's not really much stuff that bothers me. Of course, the major letdown is the missing snap pose. That would have been an easy no-brainer for Hot Toys to add somehow, either by articulation or a third gauntlet. Yeah, but overall the quality is really top-notch. The different portraits are nice. Also the whole tailoring is superb, the paint application, and they also thought about this posing issues with the rubbery arms, with giving us a secondary fixed arm sculpt. So I think overall it's a good deal. It might be a bit pricey, or on the pricier side, because it's lacking some accessories here and there. I mean, if you think about some accessories that they could have thrown in as well, would have been, for example, the dagger that Gamora is using in the reality stone scene, or would have been really cool, would have been a battle damaged gauntlet after the final battle smash scene with Thor, where it basically disintegrates and it looks like it was acid burned. But other than that, I mean, you pay about 380 to 400 if you wait for some weeks, or right now in Hong Kong it goes around $500 with shipping, so that's definitely a price to ask. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video review on Thanos. Thanks for watching and see you soon on the tube. Bye bye.